Hi everyone, I'm Randi Zuckerberg. I'm so excited to be here hosting Okcoin Live, and I'm delighted to be here with our party co-host, Caroline, who's the newest editor-in-chief of BFF. Welcome and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Randi. It's so fun to have the tables turned here. You're interviewing me. Last time we did this, I interviewed you. So I'm just going to sit back. What are we talking about?
I love it. Well, first of all, I don't think that many tech crypto interviews happen with like glitter rainbow eyes.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah,
where are we? What's going on with the event? Why do you have your rainbow eyes on right now?
Yeah, well, I think, and I'm really curious to hear your experiences at NFT NYC. But
totally.
I was here last year at the last NFT NYC. I think there were 6 total women. And I remember we hosted an event with Okcoin, and we left that event and we were like, we love this community, but things need to change. Yep. The culture needs to change. And it was that night that Okcoin committed $1 million to getting more women into crypto, which was, and so to be here a year later, even though there's such a long way to go, I feel there's been a drastic change in the last year of women getting into the space. So I'm curious, as a newcomer into Web3, not knowing that backstory, what are your thoughts?
So it started a little bleak, I'm not gonna lie. My day started waiting in that long line to get your pass, which was very, very circuitous and lots of rows, and I was surrounded by men. I thought it was actually pretty funny. I almost got lost because I was blindly following a man who didn't know where he was going, and then I had to reroute our entire group to get our passes where they actually were, the only woman there. So I thought, what am I walking into? But things got slowly and slowly better throughout the day, and we saw so many incredible female speakers. Saw an all-women panel, which I loved, of female projects that you and I both are just so passionate about, whether it's Boss Beauties or it's Farm Girl Flowers. I see so many great events that have been female-led and female driven, and so my day's turning around. It's almost 8 o'clock here, and I'm saying that I've seen mostly women in the room right now.
Yes. Okay, so set the stage for our viewers of where we are right now and what's happening.
Yeah. So we are on the refinery rooftop right now with a partnership between Hug and BFF, that's sponsored by Okcoin.
I should hug you.
I know, virtual hugs right now. We already hugged. We'll hug them after this too. And yeah, we're bringing together our communities in support of onboarding more diverse groups into crypto and into Web3, and we're doing it with Okcoin, and I'm just so excited. We have some makeup stations where people are going to be able to look like they're UPFPs.
Like I have my glorious rainbow eyes, if anyone can see. I think I'm going to have to keep my eyes closed all night because it's like way better.
Randi has a lot more courage than I do. They wanted to put the rainbow eyes on me, but I thought, maybe I'll do that after.
Well,
so after we get done
here. All the BFF, the U's that I own from the collection are very colorful.
Yes.
So I feel like I had to represent the PFPs that I have in my wallet.
Yeah, it was a couple months ago that we launched our first PFP collection, which is the U collection. And it's supposed to represent the diversity of all the folks that we're trying to onboard into the community. So yeah, it's great. It's great to see the U's come to life, if you will.
All right, so you had a whole career in Web 2. We connected. You worked at LinkedIn and on the front lines of Web 2. What was it about Web3 that attracted you?
Well, I have a similar story to a lot of people who now find themselves working full-time in Web3, and that is I started to dip my toes in the water and realizing just the incredible impact that the technology was going to have on my industry, which is media, which is traditional media. I started my career at Bloomberg, and then I went over to Fortune magazine, and then started the content team over at LinkedIn. And I was watching kind of out of the side of my eye as a business journalist what was going on with Web3 and how it could transform not just financial markets, but also the media industry in its own right. There's so many things that are broken about traditional media.
Totally.
So many broken things about the distribution model, about how audiences can show that there's their support to certain media outlets. And I thought, okay, this is interesting. And then in January, I heard about BFF. I joined our initial onboarding event in January and watched that and thought, wow, this is such an incredible group of women, a group of women that I know well. A lot of my work as a reporter was covering women in business, particularly VCs and startup founders. And so I recognized a lot of the women that I knew from the Web 2 days and was just keeping an eye on what they were doing. And so when BFF decided to launch into editorial, I thought I'd throw my name in the ring. And it's about week 5 on the job, working with Britt and Jamie and the incredible team that they're assembling, and it's been a great jump.
It's awesome. All right, I want to get into BFF in particular in a second, but before that, How did people close to you react when you said you were going full into Web3 and in particular an NFT community?
Right. I wouldn't describe myself as a risk taker, and I don't think anyone who's close to me would describe myself as a risk taker. So I do think that there were some question marks, but I do think I have a track record in my career of wanting to be where the industry is going as opposed to where it's been. Totally. So I go back to 7 or 8 years ago when I was at Fortune magazine. I had an incredible role there. I started this newsletter called The Broadsheet. Yeah. I was surrounded by so many journalists that I respected and admired, working with so many women actually that I really respected and admired. But it felt like this legacy industry was just trying to stay up to date with everything that was going on. When I first joined Fortune, if you can believe it, they were just getting their website up and running. They were reinvesting into at Fortune.com, which is crazy to think that this was, you know, mid 2010s, and they weren't even invested into Web 2 really at that point. And I got a call from LinkedIn, and you know, they really bridged this idea of what can we do if we bring great journalism to social media and to community. And so I saw that it was going into a place where in order, you can have great content, but if you don't have the community to support it, there's not really that much that you can do. And so I saw BFF as the next step into that, into Web3, into really integrating both content and community together, and that's what I'm doing with BFF, and it's been great.
It's amazing. Okay, so what does an editor-in-chief of a Web3 project do? Like, walk us through what, because that feels like a brand new job title that, like, you might be the first person to hold a job title like this. Probably in 5 years from now, it will be a very commonplace job to have. So, like, you're blazing a trail here. So what is an editor-in-chief?
Well, I'm smiling, Randy, because I'm sure whatever answer I give you today, it's going to be different tomorrow.
Totally.
And it's going to be
100%.
totally different next week and the next week. So, you know, BFF, we're fewer than 10 on the team right now. And so what I'm really loving about the role that I'm in right now is that it really does feel like an operator role, right? Yeah. And so I'm doing everything from putting out fires with community management to building out a contributor network for ways that we can bring more content and great experiences for the BFF community, to just listening to Britt and Jamie about ideas that they have for how we can bring more utility to our collections and kind of everything in between. But I think more broadly, BFF's mission is to onboard and educate more women and non-binary people into Web3. You can't do that without content. You can't do that without the education component. And so I'm incredibly excited because I had a few other startups at points in my career want to invest into content because it's sexy, as you know. Content, media, the cameras, the makeup, it's sexy. And so a lot of startups think, oh, I want to invest in editorial, I want to build an editorial team, but they don't really mean it. And Britt and Jamie are committed. I was their first full-time hire, and I think that speaks volumes to how they understand that content, education, this is something it has to be the soups and nuts of the business, which is what really got me excited about the opportunity.
And so what does success look like for you a year from now? When we're sitting here again at next NFT NYC,
I love that.
What would make you feel like we had a great year?
I love that, making me put my line in the sand. I think for me, you know, I just learned not 5 minutes ago that BFF won the best onboarding experience for new NFT users at NFT NYC. And so that award in itself, you know, it means a lot to us as a community because we've put so much emphasis on ensuring that we're making the onboarding experience of Web3 and crypto welcoming and inviting. You know, we want you to feel like Hug does, that you have a friendly voice, a friendly hand who's helping you through the process. And so that's an incredible accomplishment, and I think a year from now, I want to take that accomplishment and scale it. What are other experiences, once we get your foot in the door? We hear from so many people that, oh, my BFF friendship bracelet, that was my first NFT, or my that was my first NFT. We have this incredible, over 150,000 of us across different channels in the BFF community. I want to take them into their next step and their third step and their fourth step. We just did a survey and they want more advanced Web3 tutorials. They want more advanced articles. So a year from now, I don't want it to just be the best onboarding experience. I want the crypto native to tell us that they're using BFF as a way to learn more and to up level.
I want to just double click on that for our viewers because I constantly, when I go to events for the Hug community, and we have a little more of a specific creator community of artists, I would say at least a third of the people at any event say that they onboarded into Web3 through BFF.
And I've heard you speak about just the symbiotic relationship between BFF and Hug. BFF is really kind of we're kind of your initial step, and then once you want to learn more, particularly as a creative, that you go to Hug. And I think that's also what's so cool about Web3, particularly as we relate getting more women, is that unfortunately in Web 2, whether it's the headlines or not, you think, oh, there's already one woman in the space, I got to compete with her, or
Totally.
I can't support these projects. And as this event shows, as this partnership with Okcoin shows, it doesn't have to be a competition. In fact, we can uplift and support each other. There's room for everyone at the table.
Absolutely, and I mean, even this week, I've been just running around to a ton of events that I'm like a holder in their NFT, and like I don't have any skin in the game in their company, but it's exciting to support other women, and there's, I think, a real sense that in 10 years from now, we're going to look so fondly on this moment of like we were all in the trenches together, building something.
And that's really, honestly, when you ask what attracted me to BFF and to the Web3 space, I spent so much of my career as a journalist writing about these legacy industries where, women were getting 2% of venture capital, where only 5% of the CEOs in the Fortune 500 are women. These legacy institutions in their own right, whether it be industries or companies or whatever.
Yes.
And we're at the beginning of Web3 right now. And so the numbers aren't great. 81% of Web3 participants right now are male. I think that men are twice as more likely than women right now to invest in crypto, but we are at the initial stages, and I see so much opportunity for us to change the numbers before we're talking about these same issues a decade from now.
Totally. Can I congratulate you on video for almost being a new mom?
Yes,
I think it's so awesome, and I also think it's so awesome because we also need to fix the culture in Web3 of having to be always on.
Yes.
Which means that we need to showcase more leaders in the space who are balancing caregiving, who are having families, who have a well-rounded life. So I'm just curious your thoughts as you become a new mom in this space, what you're thinking about.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your congratulations. I'm 20 weeks, and so it's still, sometimes I wake up and have to remind myself that I'm going to be a new mom, so thank you for the reminder. Look, I'm all for it. I had a Twitter space just yesterday with Kathy Hackle, who you know is the Chief Metaverse Officer over at Journey. Kathy's amazing. And it's a Twitter space, and at 1 minute we're in this conversation, and her kid comes in and says, "Mommy, mommy," and she's profusely apologizing over the Twitter space. And I made a whole moment of it. I said, "No," I said, "I want everyone in this Twitter space to know that you are the Chief Metaverse Officer of Journey. You're juggling so many different things. You just rang the bell at NASDAQ on Friday, the first opening bell for a financial market in the Metaverse, and now you're here talking to me, and you have these kids." And she also has a puppy, by the way. I don't know how she does it. And I made a whole point of it because of that exact reason. I think the more that we have women, particularly at the forefront, leading these industries at events like this and everything in between, the better. So as I think about my role as a new mom, I don't know if it's going to be a boy or a girl yet. And I think no matter, regardless of the gender, I am so excited for the world that this baby is going to walk into and the opportunities that it's going to have.
All right, well, the music's coming up on the party.
I hear that.
So I think that it's almost our cue to end.
I'm ready to dance.
But let's end with a lightning round of okay or not okay.
Let's do it.
All right. Bear market.
I've just read some. Okay, I think you call it what it is, right? I think it's fine. It doesn't scare me. I like bears. Bears can be cuddly. I think we should also talk about it as a build market, though.
Yes.
I think a build market is great. As we learned from the last recession, whether it's Uber or Airbnb, so many great companies were born out of the last recession, and I think this really gives a lot of particularly Web3 entrepreneurs an opportunity to kind of slow down. Web3 moves quickly, and to educate and to invest in themselves and to buy the bear market, buy the build market. This is not financial advice, but this is a good time to get in. And so I heard another speaker, I stole it from another speaker today, but I think build market is what I'm thinking right now going into this weekend.
Okay, what about bear hugs? Okay or not okay?
I'm such a hugger. And then COVID happened. I know. And then COVID happened, and one of my first, my old team at LinkedIn, we hugged a lot at work, which, some companies feel weird about that. But I thought, is this the end of the work hug? And so I'm so excited that, now with the vaccinations and everyone being safe, I've given lots of people hugs. So yes, into bear hugs.
Now that I run a community called Hug, I feel I have to hug everyone like all the time. So I'm like, it would be off-brand of me to not do it.
Yeah, that seems to be a lot of pressure. I hadn't thought about that. Yes.
What about like people naming their children after cryptocurrencies? Like, is Ethereum a contender for your baby? Okay or not okay?
I'm gonna say not okay, but I do have this app on my phone, which is like Tinder for baby names, that both my husband and I have, and so we get the same names, and we've been swiping left or right, and Ethereum has not come up, but I do think that if it comes up, both of us are gonna be swiping left on that one, which I've never had a Tinder, but I think swipe left is bad, and swipe right is good.
Yeah. And where can people find you?
Oh, so nice. You can find me on Twitter, cfair1, but more importantly, check out BFF, mybff.com, and my BFF on Twitter. And Randi, I'm so excited for tonight. It's going to be so much fun.
Such a pleasure chatting with you. And now let's go have fun at our party.
Let's do it. Thank you.